Hello guys, welcome back for the October JRPG news roundup. We start with the Falcom news as always, and a thank you to Hansuke once again for all his hard work. Kicking off with the merch first, Pinbox notified us that there are now updated versions of their Cold Steel pins that released earlier this year. These have a fresh coat of paint and look slightly more sharp than the originals. NIS America have also got in on the action with their own commemorative 30th anniversary pin due to ship in March 2023. On the Japanese side, Falcom themselves have put up pre-orders for the 2023 Kiseki calendar. This calendar features a lot of the images that were used as retailer bonuses during the pre-order window for Crimson Sin, with a few extras that have yet to be seen. A super ultimate album of Kuro no Kiseki has also got the green light. This is similar to what happened with Ys 8 and Ys 9, where 11 of the more popular songs of the Kuro soundtrack get brand new arrangements. Finally, we saw the Risha figure completed a couple of months back, and now we have the completed version of the Crow figure as well, which until recently we only had a prototype of. The sculpt and paint job look pretty good on this one. It's an immediate purchase for me, and pre-orders will open in December. Onto the game side of things, well, we had the release of Trails from Zero, which in the majority was received very well by both critics and fans alike. There were a few translation issues here and there, but there have been patches since that have been addressing said problems. There was also information for Trails into Reverie, which we will discuss in the upcoming releases section. Akatsuki no Kiseki, the browser-cum-mobile title, has its final epilogue due out for November 2022. Of course, this game has its own non-canon story that takes place in the Kiseki universe, and this will now come to an end in a chapter called Beyond the Dawn. As for the release of Kuro no Kiseki 2, it sold just over 50,700 physical units for both PS4 and PS5 combined, which is just above Kuro no Kiseki. It's also worth noting as well that these are only for physical sales, and Falcom placed more importance on the digital front this time around with their increased advertisements for digital deluxe versions and season passes. There was also a rumour concerning the PS5 version of Kuro no Kiseki, stating that the main illustrator for Ys 8 and 9 has since left the company, as he was not mentioned in the credits of the game despite being mentioned in the PS4 version just last year. Finally, due to the release of Crimson Sin, there were a lot of interviews from Kondo this month where he noted the trajectory of the Trails series and shared other interesting statements. According to the man himself, Trails is now 70% complete, with one more Kuro game due out, though whether it will have Kuro in the name remains to be seen. With this, there are around 3 more regions to explore, and he also refused to rule out the possibility of Sky remakes in the future. In other interviews around the middle of the month, there was also mention of Ys 10, which of course we just got the first concept art for. Apparently it was touted to come out this year for the 35th anniversary of the series, but they decided to hold it back, which suggests that it won't be announced this year either come the shareholder meeting, and that spot will most likely be taken by the third Kuro game, which is almost complete. Kondo also mentioned that Adol himself will remain mostly mute going forward, and text-heavy adventures will not be the focus of the titles to maintain their action-centric pacing. The design of Adol will also forgo his famous silver armor, which is apparently no longer popular. Now we move to the general JRPG news, starting with the merchandise half. Kicking us off is Atlus, who are planning to release a Persona 5 Royal-based card game in collaboration with Pandasaurus Games. Not much has been shared on this yet, but it's due to release in October 2023. Fangamer have put up some SMT-free Nocturne merchandise to purchase via their storefront. These include items like a vinyl set of 70 tracks, a vinyl slip mat that features the Jack Trio, a Jack Frost plushie, and also a True Demon t-shirt. Jumping to figures now, the Kasumi Figma is now up for pre-order till December and will release on July 2023. A Bright Arts Gallery figure of Jack Frost is also up for pre-order on the Square Enix store for $45, touted to release in May 2023. And finally, the Mega House version of Yusuke Kitagawa has gone up for pre-order on sites like Army, due to release in May 2023. It also comes with removable parts and joins other characters like Kasumi as part of the Lucrea series. To Atelier now, and if you're familiar with these news roundups, you'll know that Atelier normally means figures, and that's the same this month, as the Negligee figures of Ryza and Claudia have gone up for pre-order due to ship in late 2023. There was also an Alter figure of Ryza based on her art from the first game, which follows on from the Sophie figure released earlier this year. Since it's Alter, it comes with a premium, but the quality is generally worth it. Finally, for those looking forward to the third Ryza game, pre-order bonuses have gone up on the Japanese front for certain retailers, many of them being tapestries of the titular heroine herself. A couple of special editions now. Loop 8, the coming-of-age adventure that is coming west via Xseed, announced the Celestial edition, which has your standard fare in box, tapestry, artbook, music CD, and an authentic Japanese Enma. These versions exist for Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. In a similar vein, Trinity Trigger, also coming west via Xseed, has a Day 1 edition for PS4, PS5, and Switch featuring an artbook, soundtrack, and collector's box. Rounding out our merchandise section will once again be Square Enix. Square felt in the mood to celebrate a couple of its more niche franchises lately, starting with Saga Frontier, which got an armada of items ranging from wristwatches to coats. Secret of Mana also had similar treatment, with many goods shipping in early 2023 for Japanese audiences. Western fans can likely get involved too with that proxy service. A few plushies are coming our way from Final Fantasy as well. We have a Chocobo plush due to release in January 2023, and a Tidus and Yuna plushie duo ready for May 2023, so Final Fantasy X fans can get their fix here. Bravely Default celebrated its 10-year anniversary too, with a bunch of goodies due out on March 2023. This collection features a tote bag, 3D crystal, folding screen, clear files, and a plush collection which comes to just under $160 on the Square Enix storefront. Finally, some media related items. First of all, due to popular demand, the physical version of Neo The World Ends With You's OST has been restocked. This was certainly one of the highlights of this underappreciated game, so I'm glad it's been made available again. And that's not all, as to celebrate the release of Star Ocean The Divine Force, many of the franchise's earlier songs have been made available on music streaming sites. Rounding us out here is a follow-up trailer for the Nier Automata anime adaptation, featuring a new clip called Promotion File 3 and a new promotional image to accompany it. Moving over to the games now, kicking off with Square once again. In light of the 10-year anniversary of Bravely Default, there was a commemorative livestream near the start of the month, and there, producer Tomoya Hasano hinted at a potential remaster of the first game. He didn't confirm anything, but he also didn't rule it out either. Dragon Quest Treasures got a 30-minute gameplay showcase once again in preparation for its imminent release, and it's also been confirmed that 5 of the Dragon Quest games are now available on PlayStation Plus. Those who played the Harvestella demo also made their feelings known on some aspects that required some fine-tuning, and Square were happy to oblige, with the long load times being a particular focus to cut down. The game itself will apparently last between 50 to 60 hours on average. Final Fantasy now, and only the one story of note here, but the live service title Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier will end come January 2023, just over a year from its release. I'm not surprised Babylon's Fall suffered the same fate, and having a battle royale format for what's at its core is a long-running JRPG series just doesn't really work. This always felt like a milk of the Final Fantasy VII sub-series, and the fans could see that right away. The recent release of Triangle Strategy on PC now has been Steam Deck verified, so that effectively ends the one advantage the Switch had over its ports. Now onto some trademarks. Square had 2 over the course of October, with Emberstoria Saga Emerald Beyond trademarked in both Japan and Europe, which could refer to one of the many projects that Square are working on for the series. The other refers to the trademark of Symbiogenesis in Japan, which apparently is the merging of 2 separate organisms to form one singular, which is the basis of the story of Parasite Eve, so some fans are hopeful that this will materialise into another remaster or even remake on this front. Onto Star Ocean now, and there were 2 notable stories this month concerning not only the series but the developers themselves. First of all, following the release of Divine Force, the development team were asked about the possibility of the enhanced re-release of Star Ocean Second Evolution ever coming west. In response, the development team stated that if fans were vocal enough about it, they could make it happen. Whether Tri-Ace will live long enough to see this though is another story, as for June 2022, the developer announced a 684 million yen loss in its financial reports, with sales dropping by over 40%. Major factors identified behind this were delays and the cancellation of development projects. At that point in time, it was stated that the developer was in a state of insolvency, and thus it can reasonably be deduced that Tri-Ace are depending heavily on the performance of Divine Force to recoup some of those losses. Rounding us out on Square for this month, we have a story that released near the end of the month that stated Square was shifting focus away from the Japanese market and focusing more on global audiences as the potential of profits sourced from Japan seemingly wanes. With the increased cost of development and the shrinking home market, Square, along with many other larger developers, feel the need to change their priority in order to make a profit, which I think many of us have seen over the past decade. This statement shouldn't really come as a surprise. To Atlus now, not much to say here except that Soul Hackers 2 will get an update in November, granting a dash ability, high-speed battle mode and 4 new demons, so those who haven't got around to playing it will hopefully get a more pleasing experience. Samurai Maiden now has its opening movie revealed, and just as last month, it's pretty clear it'll be a bit silly, but I dare say there is a small segment of fans that this will appeal to. The Kickstarter campaign for Arm Fantasia and Penny Blood ended this month, raising over 379 million yen and ending with 17,920 backers, which pretty much blows away its stretch goals too. Pretty crazy that Sony weren't interested when it first came into the fore, but their loss will hopefully be our gain. And last of all, before the upcoming releases, we have a bit more information on Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, which apparently will have over 60,000 lines and a fully voiced main story. It's been stated as well that each of the 100 characters will also have over 80 different lines in battle. On to the upcoming releases now, starting with delays. Now this first one isn't really a delay, but it could have ended the title altogether on the platform, so I'll put it here. Chaos Head Noah, the visual novel from the same universe as Steins Gate, was initially not going to release on Steam due to a breach of the platform's guidelines. Thankfully, fans came together to stop this and the decision was overturned with the game releasing on the 7th of October. Happy ending there. As for an actual delay, Valkyrian Arc Hero School Story 2 has been pushed back to early 2023, though a new overview trailer was also shared. Next up are visual novels, as I know some people who watch these videos enjoy them, and hey, I like them too, so it's worth mentioning, but I will keep it brief. The group Nekonyan, who are a team of translators that work with others to bring visual novels west, stated that 5 of them are on their way. These include Koi Choco, Bakamoe, Mysteries of the Heart, The Psychic Detective Case Files, My Klutzy Cupid, and the Aero game Ready or Not, The Deadline is Coming. Good times for fans. Next up are a couple of JRPG-inspired indie titles. A Breath of Fire-inspired 2.5D title called Tears of Magic is currently in the Kickstarter phase and currently sits at around 70% of its intended goal, though I believe that come the release of this video, it has since ended. So I imagine they didn't meet their target, but it remains to be seen if they're going to go ahead with what they've already raised. The other is For This Way Madness Lies, which has now officially been announced for PC and will release on November the 10th. The developers in Zeboid Games are known as the minds behind Cosmic Star Heroine. And we end this with the big upcoming releases, starting with the dungeon crawling RPG Labyrinth for Galeria, The Moon Society, that is due out on February 2023. Record of Agarest War is coming to Switch in March 2023. Some people are aware of my disdain for this game, so I won't be playing it, but I am aware that there are fans of it too, so there you go. Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden will be releasing for modern platforms come January the 19th, 2023, following on from the myriad of announcements a couple of months back. The tactical sci-fi RPG Relayer that was originally exclusive to PlayStation is now also on PC. It released back on October 27th. This upgraded version called Relayer Advanced includes an improved UI, expanded endgame content, and story recollection modes. Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life will now be releasing for PS5, Xbox Series and PC come summer 2023. This follows on from its Nintendo Switch announcement last month. Rune Factory 3 Special now has a Japanese Switch release date set for March the 2nd, 2023, and there are also limited editions available for those interested. There was also mention that the possibility of a remake for both RF1 and 2 will be dependent on sales, so basically vote with your wallet if you want them. Akiba's Trip Undead and Undressed Director's Cut has been announced for PS4, Switch and PC. It has a Japanese release date set for April the 20th, 2023. This version includes refinements, a new route, and all existing DLC from the original release. Neo The World Ends With You is now available on Steam, so I imagine this will most likely be the best form of the game at present. It's also still playable on Switch and PS4 too. Digimon World Next Order is coming to PC and Switch on February the 22nd, 2023 worldwide. This follows on from its PS4 and Vita releases back in 2017. And last of all, we have a few Falcom titles. East 9 Monstrum Nox is now coming to PS5 in spring 2023. This also means that the limited edition is once again available on the NIS America site, similar to what happened with East 8. Trails to Azure will launch on March the 14th in North America and 17th in Europe, which coincides with the Nvidia leak we saw earlier this year, and the last of the 3 in Trails into Reverie will see a release in summer 2023, again drawing from that Nvidia leak. A limited edition is also available that is selling out fast. And there it is guys, your JRPG news roundup for October is complete. Give us a like, subscribe for more JRPG related goodness, and I'll see you soon. Peace.